No, I was just basically seeing if there the cards that you got that I didn't get to see like what their effects were and stuff like that. Unless I don't know, is there a site that says the effects? Because obviously I know there's
No.
like a card list. Yeah.
What do I got? Alt Rock Radio, Backspasm, and Bloat. I should have those in my deck. Let me see. There's Bloat. Apparently I didn't put them in my deck. It's probably good reasoning then.
Okay.
Backspasm All Art Radio. I think they were about to be added in my deck, and then I was at 50 cards, and I was like, well, you're not getting added because all these cards do more. Yeah, Backspasm for the duration of your turn. All beasts on your opponent's field get -1 defense. This tool card can't be doubled.
Okay, so that's basically a reverse of what is it? Reheated leftovers is all of it's the same thing, but it's instead of -1 defense, it's all of your things get +1 attack.
Okay, well I didn't get that one, so that's good to know. And then what else is there? Alt Rock Radio. Your opponent's terrain is inactive until their next turn. Tool can't be doubled.
Okay.
Which I don't. I thought about putting it in the deck, but then I'm like, there's cards that just get rid of terrain instead of make it inactive. And then Bloat is a 5/3. This beast gets -1 defense for each beast on your opponent's field.
Ooh, what type is that too?
That's concrete. That's the only concrete card I think I added.
Yeah, it's just for a 5 attack. It's -1 defense for every card on the opponent's field.
Yeah, this beast gets -1 defense for every card on your opponent's field.
Yeah, so it's basically gonna be like a 5/1.
It's still a 5, and that's what my
Yeah,
thought is.
yeah. That's if you're a 5 anything, you're worth playing.
Even if you're a 5/0, I'm still putting you in the deck. Like it's a 5.
Yeah.
But,
No, but like I was saying, like if you play like a setup play of saying like playing like knee surgery into like home defense is pretty nasty because you play one guy and since you only have one on the thing on the field, home defense says the opponent can't attack that beast, and therefore they basically can't attack obviously unless they have the attack direct stuff, but since they can only play one beast a turn. So they play one of something, and then your follow up turn you can play 2 other beasts, and then you just swarm them.
That's pretty good, actually. I mean, you said the Steak Knives Ring of Darkness combo on turn 1 is pretty nasty.
That's just so hilarious. Yeah, turn 1 Ring of Darkness into Steak Knives, and it means you got 2 cards in your hand. Obviously, it's the 2 cards, like the 2 best cards.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you're discarding so many other cards that are obviously in your deck for a reason. So you're missing out on, 5 cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I think I'm still sticking to the same terrains I used. I think I added 1. I'm sticking still to New Condo and Garage, and then I added Pawn Shop. I think, yeah.
Dude, what are the new ones here?
Because I felt that the 2 that either at the end of your turn took a can away from your opponent, and at the end of the other one is at the end of your turn give a can to yourself. I didn't feel like that was very strong. I feel like that's kind of because your terrain spot is like sacred. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna play one of those, it'd be probably the Mountain of Death, the one that takes away from your opponent, just because
Yeah.
that's technically a win condition.
If you can stall out long enough, yeah. But I think that there was I'm missing courthouse and cabin, so I don't know what those do.
Cabin is it's basically nullifies the most of the other terrain. It says your opponent's terrain cannot add attack or defense points to their beasts.
So basically, is like okay, so it's like
Yeah,
the
so
counter. It's the
just
terrain counter.
your terrain. If it gives something to your beast, it doesn't do anything. So it's just basically your stats are your stats. So you better have a tool card which increases their stats if you want to do something like that.
So I guess it is worth it for me to keep pawn shop in the deck then, because I kept thinking it's like I'd rather save it for like when I get garage or a new condo. But with that terrain, I think it's worth it to play pawn shop because I think pawn shop's like it's like a 50-50 coin flip, I believe, to get a card.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the what's it called? What's the new staple card? Oh, ringworm. Ringworm is in every deck all the time now. It's insane.
ringworm. Let me. I
You're
know
not
I
playing
pulled that.
ringworm?
I think. Did I pull it? I don't know.
Yo,
Yo.
If you didn't
Oh, I
pull
did pull
ringworm,
ringworm. Oh yeah, draw one additional card at the end of your turn. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's insane. Like there was a time that, like I said, I was playing with my wife, and she's actually like getting into the game now. She was telling me the other day, she's like, "Oh, we should bring divorced dads to Thanksgiving dinner," and I was like, "No, we're not bringing divorced dads to Thanksgiving dinner." Um, but she had ringworm and the what was that? The worst ringworm, the like used underwear or old underwear.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I thought that card was bad.
Yeah, old underwear. Yeah, just it's the worst ringworm. It's the 0-2 ringworm. But she had both of them plus hair transplant, and so
Okay.
every turn she was drawing at least 3 cards. So every turn she could dump 3 cards, and uh, and then for each card you dump, hair transplant gets another attack, and then she had the terrain or steel attack. So every turn her hair transplant was like at 7 or 8 attack. It's like depending on how much things she dumped. And then the stuff that she would dump, would be like, oh, when it's sent to the junk pile, like do other stuff, like draw a card or deal a damage, to the opponent or or come back to life or all that stuff. So it was like, I'm like, all right, it's actually not bad. So but she had that combo going, and I'm like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. I'm like, I was like, I can KO the hair transplant, but then she just will, like pick up basketball or the other. What's the new pickup basketball?
I think it's drunk tank, right?
Well, Drunk Tank gets the most. Yeah, Drunk Tank is like it's a worse version of it. It gets the most recent.
Yeah,
One. What's
there's the
that?
one that gets the beast, right? Yeah. What is
Let's
that
see.
called?
Day drinking. Day drinking.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's what it is. So it's like, yeah, it's like pick up basketball, Drunk Tank, and day drinking. It was just like I'm like, yeah, it's coming back. Like, there's nothing I can do. Um, and and then also that deck is strong against, like, if somebody plays divorce papers against you, it's like, oh, send your whole hand to the junk pile. It's like, all right, that's like, it's not the worst thing in the world because I have all the effects that say when it's sent to the junk pile, like, do stuff, So, so everything that she was sent, it's like, oh, like, I have to discard. I send everything, and then I have to discard cards from my hand, and then she gets to draw cards, and then she gets to, deal damage to me, and it's like, oh, okay, like this was. So I'm like, it's a tough-ish combo to set up, but it's not impossible. Like I said, if you get that good, um, first couple of turns of like stall setup, like I said, like knee surgery into home defense, um, or just the older cards would be like, you can't attack. What is it, like heart attack,
Heart
or I
attack.
forgot.
Yeah, heart attack.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that you can just basically like lock, kind of like not necessarily lock down your opponents. Not like they can't do anything on their side. Like they can still develop, but it's not very quickly. So, and like I said, and then ringworm, and the other thing is just like, I'm like, yeah, you're drawing so many cards, and that's how in another game I just had ringworm, and it was on the field for like 2 turns, and then she was like, "How do you have so many cards in your hand?" I'm like, "It's just because ringworm." Like, I was like, I'm not losing cards. Like, I can only play 2 cards a turn, and I'm drawing 2 cards a turn, so I always have 7 cards in my hand.
Yeah, that's a shit ton of cards.
Yeah, but like I said, I just, it's cool to see the effects that send stuff to your junk pile, because they don't require you to play like those bad cards. That's why I was like, oh, like I would never play Pubes the Gray, but like, oh, I just send him to my junk pile to make my opponent discard something. Sure, like, you know what I mean? And it feels very like Miguel, what's that Yu-Gi-Oh deck that like discards a lot of stuff?
Is that Blue Eyes?
No, it's like a dark deck.
Oh, you mean Dark Worlds?
Yeah. Is it, because that's the one that's like you
Discard a card, and then like an effect happens or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like discarded. Oh, it gets special summoned, or it discarded. Oh, my opponent, I destroy something on opponent. It's like, so it feels like that,
The control aspect.
Yeah.
Well, it's just good to see that the game actually, like, it's a game now. It's not kind of like a joke game anymore. It's like
before
this
it was
is
just
turning
literally
into
like,
a
yeah.
game.
I mean, it's still kind of like, are my, it's just, are my numbers bigger? Like, yeah, then I'm going to win the game. But there's a lot more comeback mechanics, and there's a couple ways to kind of like just stop your opponent from doing whatever they want to do.
It at least feels like a game. Reading the cards and stuff, it feels like a game now. It's not going to become Pokemon or anything, but it might. We might see another expansion, which would be pretty cool.
Well, and that's what even my wife was saying. She's like, "Oh man, like, is there going to be more after this?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, the only reason why this expansion came out is because the first set sold well. So unless
People stay with it.
Yeah, unless Graham Barrett doesn't like making money, then there's probably gonna be another one. Like, it's like, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know. But we'll see if there is, if there's more. Because like I know last time we saw we saw on the site, like, oh, it's sold out, for a little while. So basically, if we ever see that, if we see sold out again, then we know, like, okay, yeah, there's gonna be more.
But the thing is that I wouldn't say worries me, but that is obvious is I think mostly everyone else in the group kind of like quit. You know what I mean? Like Rick, Steve, and Logan all kind of just stopped. Because I don't think they got any of the new stuff.
You can't really blame them though. I mean, come on, dude. You're talking about hero clicks and then divorced dads. Of course, their more priority is going to be hero clicks.
No, I understand that, Miguel. What I'm saying is, like, I don't think that the game. Not everyone is still playing. You get what I mean? Like, he's not selling the same amount of alimony packs as he sold of the older ones, at least from a small scale in our group. So I wonder if that's also for other places that people didn't keep up with it and they just, you know.
Well, that's what happens with any game, right? I mean, if they don't keep up with it, what happens?
Yeah, no, I get that. What I'm saying is, like, that potentially could be happening. What I'm saying.
I don't know. And at the end of the day, too, it's like I said, because I can understand. We kind of stopped playing it in the beginning because we had every card and we just knew, like, yep, this is there was before there was only one deck, really. I mean,
There was like one deck, and then you had, like, every person kind of had their own, like, little spin on it.
It's almost like you play every card with 5 or more attack. You play almost every card with 4 or more attack. And you play almost every card with 4 or more defense. And that's it. And then whatever and then steel was the only type that had the judge. So you're playing steel. You're playing at least some steel terrain, and then
Not even that. Steel just has, and it still has, the overall just best performing beasts.
yeah, I mean steel. They even got a new 4/3 with the expansion. So
Yeah, they just feel insane compared to, like, wood and leather. Those are kind of like the secondary, ones, and then concrete is just, it's in its own league of bad.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and steel, both cards that do that like discard thing, where, like, oh, discard cards from your hands. Both of those cards are steel. The hair transplant is the one that gets extra attack, and then pressure washer is the one that gets you more health.
Yeah, and I actually like pressure washer, as a card. It's not bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, so it's it's one of those things where it's like, since steel is so juiced right now, so it's like you're obviously playing a steel focused deck, but also right now it's like, okay, you could then also play an alimony deck. That's a whole different thing. That's like, okay, instead of having a deck of like 40 to 50 cards, now you're like a 20 card deck or less, because basically the only beast you have in the deck might be alimony, or and then or a couple other ones just to stall, and then.
And the thing is no one using man tiers, so there's no counter to alimony except for, like, tool softener.
Yeah, well, you can also. I mean, there's also what the solemn judgment of divorced dads. Whatever. Which one is that? I forgot. It's the one that you pay 5 cans to remove anything from the map.
It's a beast, right?
No, it's a tool.
I might have saw it.
And foot odor also beats alimony, but
What does foot odor do? I didn't get that one.
foot odors, at the end of your turn, all cards on your opponent's field go back to their hand.
Okay.
So, like, that, I mean, it's not as good as, like, stool softener, but then, I mean, stool softener you can't attack and all that stuff.
Late night text.
Yeah, but foot odor is just like, oh, you have a bunch of stuff on the field. Like, no, you're gonna have to redo like those 2 or 3 turns. What is the one that?
It's late night text.
Yeah, late night text. Yeah, late night text. Yeah, he's like just 5 cans to just get rid of anything. So
I feel like that's too expensive, but
Well, when the thing that you're getting rid of is like the thing that's preventing you from winning the game, it's like, oh, they have that 7 defense, beast, and you're like, all right, let's just get rid of that. Like,
Yeah, and I get that you're not always gonna have IPA, so it's nice to have two. It just I don't know. 5
but
cans is a lot.
yeah, but it gets rid of any card, so it can get rid of terrain as well. That's why it's the flexibility. So
I didn't think about that.
yeah, it's like it's a lot, but I think it's like it's the card that if you're playing it, you're now winning the game. Like it just you know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Is like if you're in a situation like I wouldn't play this card. It's like, well, that's probably because you're already winning, and you're just like it's not worth the 5. Like you said, it's not worth the 5 cans. But if you if you are playing it, it's because you were losing and you're probably now winning. It's just from that one card.
That is true. And it's funny that he stopped doing the deck boxes. I was surprised at that. I would have thought that he would do another wave of them with alimony.
No, he just did the T-shirts. Yeah.
I was like, well, now I got a limited edition, card box. So
Yeah, I don't know. I would say probably I would be guessing just based on the prices that he was selling them for, and then you would imagine like the price it was to like manufacture the things, is that the deck box was probably the least like profit margin for him. You know what I mean?
oh, by far, how it feels
Yeah.
and everything, it's not cheap. That
Yeah.
it's.
Because it looks like for example, you look at like a T-shirt or the hat. It's like, okay, that's for the prices that he's selling it for. Like he's making a lot of money on that, and then and the play mat. It's like, yeah, I mean, whatever company he's got making those play mats, like they do a good job, and it's literally just change the image on it. Like the actual manufacturing process is exactly the same. So, and then he's
Yeah.
like he's charging enough for the ring, So the ring was another special thing, but he's charging $40 for it. Whereas I don't. What was he charging for the deck box? Was he?
The deck box was, I want to say 40,
Yeah,
but
that's yeah. It's like if it was 40,
yeah, it
yeah,
was 40.
that sounds like right. It's like 40 for a little cheap ring or 40 for a deck box. It's like that you can tell like just the profit margin wasn't there for that. So if anything, that's probably the reason why he's not doing that.
I was just hoping for like a second deck box with like alimony like on it, and stuff. But
Yeah, you'll have to get the official sleeves.
I was thinking about it, but I'm like, I don't know. The thing is it's a decent chunk of money for him, right? I think it's like 20,
25,
right?
25.
Yeah, and the thing is like, if they turn out to be like Pokemon Elite Trainer box sleeves, where they're just shitty to shuffle, they don't shuffle nice, I'm like, I don't want to risk that. I'd rather just stick with Dragon Shield, because I know they're guaranteed to be nice to shuffle and to play with. Because the
Yeah.
other thing is, like, I don't know if they'll be sticky together and they don't want to, like, if they have a lot of friction, or, they're super smooth. Like, it's a weird, that's the thing with card sleeves. That's why I don't buy many, and I just stick to the brands I know.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is for me, I'm like, I actually kind of like the clear sleeves I have because I think the back of the cards is actually not terrible. The divorce dads thing. So I'm like, but and that's the thing. It's like, and then the other half of the sleeves was that, right? It was like 50 of them were the alimony, and then 50 of them were just divorced dads, right?
Yeah, 50 of them were alimony, and then 50 of them were Dover Studs, yeah.
Yeah, let's see here.
But I think
Oh
they
no,
were
no, it's not.
different.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's like it's the Graham Barrett cosplay is the other 50 of them.
Okay. Yeah, now I see that. Yeah.
But no, it's good now that there's actually, like I said, there's more than one deck. It's not just like
Yeah,
this
there's at
is the
least
best.
two. I mean, you still have just put everything good in a deck, and you still have a good shot at winning. But now you can have a little bit of an archetype. If you want to play
Yeah,
discard, you could play discard. If you want to play alimony, you could play alimony. And if you just want to play good stuff, then you're still playing the same game.
yeah,
With a
and
couple added
too,
cards.
yeah, and if you're playing like a good stuff deck, there's actually more than like 50 good cards now, so you actually have to decide what to put in that deck. It's not just, oh, I'm playing every single good card in the entire game, and I still,
Yeah,
because that's
because it
what it was
used to
before.
be. I think I was at like 43 cards, and I'm like, I only have like 7 slots left. Like,
Yeah, that's how it was before. I was like, I'm gonna play every single good card in the game. You're like, I don't even have 50 cards yet. You're like, okay, well then that's it. But now you have more than 50 cards. You're like, okay, I actually have to decide what to keep in my deck, and so so I think if they do have like just one more expansion of this same size, then I think it'll be actually feel like a more traditional card game of like, all right, there's actual archetypes, because I think that they've started with this expansion. They've started doing archetypes, um, but obviously couple of them aren't built up enough yet. Like obviously there isn't a control style deck, but I think they're doing things like I was saying, like with the Mountains of Debt thing of just, okay, every turn I'm slowly chipping away. I don't think that's a super legit thing right now, but it could be if there's more that slows down your opponent. Or same thing like with like what do they call it? Like just like burn decks or bleed decks. Or just like, I'm gonna play a card and it just does direct damage. If we have like a million different child support cards or things like that, where you just play it and it just deals damage. And you don't care about your opponent's beasts. Um, but again, I don't think that's ever gonna right now. It's not gonna you can't catch up because it just doesn't do enough, and then the beasts just deal more damage than those cards. So who knows? But between you and me, so how many cards are we missing?
well, we'd have to. Your list has less missing than mine does, because you open more packs than I did. You minus that, so 1, 2.
Like we're just missing obviously the all the rest of the parts of
14
alimony.
cards. Yeah. So you're missing 14 cards after I give you the 3 that you don't have. So you're only missing 14, and that's including new house. So realistically, it's only 13 cards.
Okay, yeah, and like I said, and then 3 of them are the parts for alimony. So or 4 of them, or what, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, because I think uh, if we combine both their collections, then it would be 12, 11. I believe 10 cards. If we combine both of our collections, we're only missing 10 cards.
gotcha. All right, yeah. So yeah, we should yeah. So like I said, we should at least get a couple of them from the last few packs that I got, um and then if not, then from there we can wait for eBay to put them up.
Yeah, and if eBay doesn't put it up, I guess that's another like $60.
Why do you say that? Like they're not gonna put it up?
I don't know, man. I have a weird feeling that there's not going to be as much. There's not going to be as much put on eBay as there was for the last one.
Well, you look at okay. Let's go. Let's go to YouTube here. You look at. I mean, you look at his videos that he's making, and aside from like collab videos, his divorced dad's videos do the best.
The one weird thing is I haven't heard anyone talk about divorced dads ever. Like besides our group, it's like I've never heard anywhere else about divorced dads. Like there's no YouTube videos on it. Like I think there's one from like some guys that test card games, and that's it.
Because it's barely a game,
Yeah, but you think that there'd be someone, just would have made a video about it. You know what I mean? More than one, creating group.
All right. So what are you saying? We got to be the ones to make videos on it. All right,
Hey, you
pull
know
it up,
what?
Matt. Pull them up in what's it called? Roll-20. We're gonna make a.
Hey man, HeroClix is going really south right now. Entering Beetlejuice era.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's actually it will be a good transition. So I'll like around the 30-ish minute mark. So I'll make a note, like I said in the video, of when we stop talking about divorced dads. So we can jump into the
Click stop.
so obvious Beetlejuice stuff. This is Time Breakers plus Butterfly.
And hope you roll good. And then if you don't, you just do it again next turn.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, like I'm saying, in a world where, for example, like Time Breaker doesn't exist, what are you using with Beetlejuice?
I think you just put them on any team. I don't think there really is like a, because Butterflies is gonna exist for beyond, forever. It's still got another world's rotation, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not an automatic, one turn Beetlejuice. In the sense,
Well, I
like
mean,
that
you
Time
just
Breakers
do it
is.
turn one. I mean, you're not really doing much on turn one for most teams. And if you can't get them out during your turn one because you have to set up, then, that's how it'll be. But I think at the end of the day, it's like you just put them on a team and 3 characters do the power action and, Satan, you pass.
Yeah, that's one thing. Is it still is it still viable? Just to, like you said, do that. Just 3 regular power actions. Bring out Beetlejuice, and then whatever click he's on, say you bring him out next to somebody with support, and you just heal him.
I think he's viable no matter what, state he's in. It's a free sideline ability. In a way, I mean, it's not free to do, but it's free to put on your sideline, and it works on any team. Because at any point in time during that game, you could use a power action to bring him out. Because there's times where it's like, oh, well, I have a character that can't attack or can't get up into the fight this turn, so it's like, alright, then I'm gonna, I saved my last action for Beetlejuice, and now I can bring him out, and then, and on the next turn, it's like my opponent was just about to outwit my Flash Raptor. Well, you can't. Type kind of scenario. I also think
Yeah.
he's good with Kong because Kong gets 2 power actions. When you have less figures.
It almost
And I
seems like
think
you'd probably just main force him at that point.
then you have to really build around him because you want your team to still use free actions, in a way, but if you're building a strictly Beetlejuice team, you're basically saying I have 200 points to get an alpha that doesn't use perplex and has a decent enough attack without using, it has to have a base attack like camo. Like camo obviously could do it. There's no free actions with camo. You're going to miss out on your shark attack, but you're still getting across the map and dealing, lots of damage. But I don't think a team of Beetlejuice physically on the 300 points is worth it because that's just a lot of point sink to have this guy on your team.
I would honestly argue that I think he's worth playing at, on the main force.
I do know that if he's I mean you're up. What are you giving him? Yeah, you're giving him some kind of motorcycle then.
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
just
give him a rollout.
I just noticed his Beetlejuice his card is misprint.
Where?
It's I don't know if you have do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I don't have the card. I have it on HD units.
Oh, HC units it won't show it because it's not misprint in a meaningful way. Here, let me take a quick picture. And I'll show you in the chat. Come on, my phone needs to focus here.
Yeah, because I screwed up and I bought Sandman and Beetlejuice together, so now I gotta wait for Sandman to release.
Yep. So they're gonna beat up Maverick.
Let's see.
I just won't show up to events that have, Beetlejuice at it.
I mean that is all right. So that's every event.
Well, not every event, because, we still do events like Limited and shit, and then Death Row, he's gonna get banned day 1 that, he's legal, so. There's plenty of events
Do you
still.
think that's
True
at
format.
this point in Death Row? At this point in Death Row, do you think he's gonna get banned in in his first event?
Yeah, because he's sideline active. Everyone puts it on sideline, and then the winning team bans it, basically, just
All right,
because it's on the sideline.
that makes sense.
Because I believe that's in the rules, right? As long as it's on sideline and has a meaningful ability for being on the sideline, it gets banned, right?
If he's able to hit the map, then yeah. But yeah,
So it's I think it's, I don't. If someone's not playing them and they win, then cool. He's still legal, I
So
guess.
basically 2 formats, right? That let's see.
And if we're being honest, Miguel, if you've looked at the recent games, almost every game has been Death Row that I've attended because that's mostly what has been played at Boar's Hat. So,
Yeah, I agree. There's no Silver Age
so
because for
like
whatever.
I said, I'm just not gonna show up to the first event. That Beetlejuice would be illegal at because I am down a major advantage. Holy shit, that is a misprint. How did that?
yeah, like if they have KO and one like in the same. I don't know what's it. Some somebody was editing the image and messed it up.
Yeah, that is funny.
Let's see if I can post that online. Be like, yo, what is this?
But I think when Beetlejuice was first like announced and we saw the card, I think I tried building a team with him on it for 100, and I think I gave him like, I think it was the motorcycle I gave him, and I was just like, this still doesn't feel good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're playing him on your force, like you got to give him a probably a motorcycle. I don't know what else. I don't know.
I
You
think
can't.
it's always motorcycle because you have running shot mind control, or
Yeah,
you have
problem
super
is-
senses.
Well, the problem is he has no range. He only has 2 targets.
Mind control is a minimum of 4.
No, I'm just saying I'm printed on his card, right? So I know it's granted minimum 4, but the fact
I
that
mean,
you should have given him some range, you know?
yeah, they should have gave him 4 like flat range. Yeah.
Would have been nice.
But I mean, it's been a while. I didn't watch the new movie. Does he do anything like ranged like in the movie? I
No,
don't
he
really
doesn't.
think
He doesn't
so.
really. No.
So it kind of makes sense, but
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
like I figure I guess you do just have to give him the charge one because it's like sometimes he gets flurry and you'd want to flurry obviously
Flurry,
charge
steal
flurry.
energy.
and you want super sense on every other click.
Yeah, I was thinking like other than I don't know, maybe you give him the hypersonic one because he has run through blocking. Oh, but
Only
I
9
don't know.
movement on top. But like then we're
Why are you
still
saying 9
talking about
movement
like.
like at the low value? Nine's pretty decent.
Hey, I'm still used to the like 11 movement hypers and stuff. But you were still at like 115 points for this guy to be on your force for both of you to not be able to use free actions. And I feel like it's just better you just put him on sideline. Because you could pay less points for a support figure.
Yeah, I think it's tougher to I mean, obviously, if you're playing him on main force, you're just playing other guys that don't do anything for free. But yeah, it's better just to say, let me do all my free stuff first, and then bring him out.
Yeah, and I think it's always just a butterfly world. Like, I haven't. There's not really been that many teams without butterfly on it, so. And if you are playing a team without Butterfly, I still think it's worth it to have Beetlejuice on sideline because on turn 1 you could just pop 2 tokens on him, and then during the game, if there's that one turn where you don't want your opponent to have free actions, you gotta waste a power action, but your opponent doesn't have free actions for that turn, and then he just goes away.
Yep. Let's see. So he would be he'd be legal for when we do the winner maps. So
Yeah, if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. So
Yep.
And that's a
basically,
good thing. I'm
Matt,
not showing up for the winner map, so.
so basically, Matt wins that one. I think he's the only one that has Beetlejuice.
It's at the store, man. Anybody can get it.
Yeah, the one store by your house. There's no other store in the vicinity where I'm at.
When we get to paper and plastic, watch when they have them.
Yeah, did you tell them to order it?
In the one store. Like there's only one store in Illinois that has it. Everybody's got it. You got the one store that don't got it. That's what you got.
Yeah, I ordered mine. I don't know if it says shipped, but
Yeah, Miguel said, "Oh man, I only have, I have more than 2 weeks to get this guy. Oh no, I'll never have him." And
I
then
was
I didn't
debating
really
on
care. I
buying
mean, I
one.
just bought one. I
and
just
then in
bought one,
3 days he's gonna have them, and then he's gonna go, oh, "All right, never mind. Now it's all good."
no, I'm just gonna be a little upset where he gets gets the errata, and then you're like, oh, can't even use this figure.
That's why I'm at the point where I'm like, don't really care that much that I messed up my order, because he's gonna get an errata and he's gonna not be good after that. I think he's still gonna be silent active, but he's not gonna be as powerful and impactful to the game.
Okay.
Within X squares, can't use free actions. Can't be given free actions.
Yeah, so you basically become like a timebreaker world with him in that case. I mean, you're still putting him on almost every team because
Yeah, but
there's
the point is
nothing on
that you can't.
sideline.
Yeah, you can't generate them in your starting area and feel good about it. You know, that's the whole point. Is that you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Because, like, I don't think there is. I mean, is sidelines being that full as much? Like, it feels like you can fit that one slot.
Yeah, and the silence aren't really as full anymore. I mean, even
Like,
with Black Panther coming out, there's not everything sidelined is power specific. I mean, obviously you got Ares, so Ares pretty much for
well,
the
you got
most part goes
butterfly,
reverse.
which it feels like you just take one of your butterfly options off.
Yeah, you just always pick a good one. You just always butterfly into Mern or something. You know, you just always gonna have a good option. You know, regardless of even if it doesn't hard counter an opponent. Um, but I mean, I think right now you need 3 butterfly options because if the opponent plays Black Panther, then you know you're gonna want to swap into something. um, so you need this. So that's 3, and then
Reverse
Beetlejuice would be
flash.
4, and well, I mean, you know, reverse flash is not even required. I'm just saying, like, for the Beetlejuice team, it's just like, all right, you're playing. So you gotta have at least 3 things for for the butterfly. Then one is Beetlejuice. And you have 2 more, so that could be, like you said, that could be reverse flash. That could be Khonshu. That could be what you know. Yeah, so
It could be
it's not.
gods. It could also be Ares. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just whatever your team does. It's like those last 2 slots. It's just they go for whatever your team's going for. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I'll say it's like I've faced Beetlejuice. Granted, you know, he was on main force, um, but the idea of like not being anybody being able to give free actions, like it doesn't feel that bad once you like if you're just playing good characters, like it doesn't even feel that bad because you're just like, all right, we're just pretty much playing numbers against numbers, and it just reinforces the previous meta of HeroClix, which is rollouts are the only thing that matters, and that's it. You just be like, all right, cool. I'm playing characters with rollouts, and you can't get rid of them. So you know, and then it's like, okay, so every attack hits, but you know, did you get your rollout? And if so, then you win.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
Yep. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I mean, do you think? Yeah, he'll probably. I think he'll probably get an errata before January, right?
I mean, you would hope so, right?
When is does I mean, what's the I forgot. I thought the schedule for the RLC events were just through December, right? I don't think there's any that are in January. Or am I mistaken?
I think it's just December. Um, well, let's go to upcoming events because they're all posted, right? Um, November, December. Yeah, they go. Florida, I think, is the last one. Yeah, Florida and Oklahoma are on the same day. And those are December 21st, so.
Okay, and that's just what is that like on just the RLC website or something?
It's on HC units because they're all almost everyone posted on HC. So.
Oh, HC. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they have to do HC units. Yeah, yeah. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, because if you live in Colorado, man, only 2 people showing up to that one right now. Still on
I mean,
December
they're
14th.
still having. I don't. That's the one thing. Look, all more power to ROC, but my God, some of these people that are running these ROC events, and this is like, I'm not even trying to like talk shit, but it's just like I see, and I'm sure you've probably seen it too, Miguel, where it's like people are like Aaron or Anthony or Howard are like, hey, so and so, like, you know, put your results in HC units, upload your build sheets in HC units. Like, you need to do it within 24 hours of the event. It's part of the requirement. And
Since when was that a requirement?
right.
That's never been a requirement. All of a sudden,
Well, no, that's so if you purchased a states kit, they sent you like an instruction sheet of like, here's how you have to run the event, here's the breakdown of prizes, and here's like your requirements. Like, again, like they said, like, you have to post the event on HC units, you have to have people sign up there, you have to report the you have to upload all the build sheets, and you have to report it within 24 hours of the event occurring, because they just don't want anybody buying a states kit and not actually running an event. You know what I mean?
oh
Just keeping
yeah,
everything for themselves. So they say, like, they got to upload the proof. But again, that came with the kit, is like an instructional sheet that said everything that they have to do. And so many people are not uploading anything to HC units, and I keep seeing this. It's like, you'll get a post that like Anthony's tagging like 14 different people, like, hey, all of you guys, like, none of you have your builds uploaded, and it's been like 5 days since the event. Like, did this event actually happen, or like, what's going on? And some of the people are like getting frustrated, like saying like, oh, like, well, none of my players know how to use HC units, and everybody is still using the win system, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, if you're the guy running the event, just get everybody signed up.
yeah. Why don't you take the initiative, get the laptop, computer, or whatever, and get people just as hey, I'll make the account for you. Like, hey, what do you want for this, this, and that?
Exactly.
I mean, granted, it's a little extra work, but at the same
Bro,
time,
if you're telling me people couldn't figure it out, my fucking dad did it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, signing up for HC units is insanely easy. Here's what I tell people. I'm like, do you have? If like one, it's like, do you have an HC units account? If the answer is no, I go. What I generally ask, I say, do you watch YouTube videos with an account? Like, when you watch YouTube video, are you a guest or do you have an account? And even some people I've asked, they go, no, I don't have an account. And I go, well, do you have a Google account? And they go, oh yeah, I have a Google account. And I said, that's the same thing. Like, it's, that means, yeah, when you watch YouTube videos, you're watching it with an account. That's your Google account. And like, if you have a Google account and you go to HC units and you click log in, you literally just click the button that says sign in with Google, and then you click your name, and you're done. Now you're in. Like, and I was like, well, the first time that you sign in, HC units will ask you to like type in your name. So that way,
and your username and everything, yeah.
Right. So I'm like, but that's it. You literally just click on your Google thing, and then it'll bring you to the page that just says put in your information, just so that when you sign up for an event, your name is there. That's it, and you're done. I was like, beyond that, you don't have to do anything. Like, from a player standpoint, like, you don't have to do anything, because as long as your name is there, from the event organizer perspective, like, I can add anybody I want. I just type in the name and click add, and there you go. And then at that point, if they're saying like, oh well, I don't want to upload my build, like I don't know how to make a team, in HC units. It's like it takes like 5 minutes to explain to everybody how to make a team on HC units. I mean, really, it's not that long, and you can do it like if everybody's in the room, like you're playing the event, everybody's there, and you can tell everybody, hey, everybody, before we start round 1, like I'm gonna make sure that everybody's builds are on HC units. Like why are you starting the event and people don't have their builds on uploaded? I just don't get that. I'm like, it's not hard to do. You just literally make your team and then you click on your name and then you say add team and then it's right there. You're done. It's like I'm like it just takes 5 minutes to do, and I don't get the excuse of like people like, oh well, my players are not familiar with the HC units. I'm like, are they familiar with using anything online at all ever? Like if you use if you use websites, you know how it works. Like it's like, do you not know how to navigate a web page? Like so but yeah, Maverick, to your point, it's like you're like, okay, if my dad literally just goes on and does it, you're like, yeah, anybody can do it. Like it's so simple. And
yeah, I just told him like sign in, and he clicked the top right, and it's like, all right, you already did everything. And then I was like, look up Hel, and then click on the Dave's Games one, and it's like, and it's just like, all right, done.
Yeah. So that's the thing that gets it. Just I don't know. It's weird. It frustrates me, even though I'm not even part of the process at all. I just like how I don't get how you can run a states event and you can't even record the results. Like what? I don't get it. Like, you can't have and some people's like your players aren't even signed up for the event. Like, oh well, they showed up. It's like, yeah, we can just sign them up. Literally press a button, sign them up. So yeah. And then Miguel, did you see the post? I don't know, Maverick, if you saw it too. There was one of the events in Canada that they were doing. They had they were like, oh, we're gonna use a house rule for this event.
Oh, the small maps, I think, right?
Yeah, and then ROC was like, no, you can't use house rules. And then they're like, oh well, if I didn't use this house rule, then less players would have shown up. Like the only way I could get my players to show up is if I make this house rule. And I'm like,
What was the house rule?
that they said that you can't use Silver Age maps. You can only use like the 16x16 maps. So, again, it's like, well, the format is Silver Age, dude. That's part of the requirement. I don't know. It's like it's one of those things.
How did this guy get the states, kit?
Right. It's like, why are you buying this kit if at the end of the day, if you're thinking like, hey, in order for me to buy this kit, I need to run an event which my players will not like the format and they won't show up. Well, then don't buy it. What are you doing? So what they're doing is going, oh, I don't want to run the event the way that they want to run it, but I want to get the prizes. That's what they're doing. I want the prizes for this event, but I don't want to actually run the event the way it's supposed to be run. It's like, yeah, because you just want the prizes. You just want to say, I don't, So even though it's a tiny thing, it's one thing. It's like, oh, it was just the maps. It's not like they, said, oh, we're not even going to do Silver Age. We're going to run just, Golden Age or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not that they changed a whole bunch of it. It's just the fact of the matter of, bro, like you saw the rules when you were purchasing the kit. Like it's right there. Like, and they actually, like when you're buying, like when you're on the ROC page and buying the kit, like there's actually a thing specifically for the states thing. It's like you have to actually reach out and say like, hey, I applied to do this. I was approved to purchase this, from Howard. And on the page you actually says like, I agree to all of these, to do all of these things. And it's like, why are you buying it if you're not agreeing to those things? Again, outside of the prizing. That's the only reason why you're buying it if you're not going to follow the rules. It's because you're like, oh, I want the factory set. Yeah, no shit. Everybody wants a factory set plus extras for $400. No shit. But if you're not going to follow the rules that they specifically laid out for you, like, then don't do it. Let somebody else will do it. But now you're taking the prize that somebody else could have gotten, and then you don't want to follow the rules for it. And again, it's a small thing. Obviously, at the end of the day, it might not even have changed the result of that specific event, but it's, I don't know. It's so weird that people will just they just care about the prizes too much sometimes.
Yeah, all to get a factory set. It's unfortunate, but that's just what it is, right?
Yep. I mean, and I'm hoping eventually the ROC does make available kits like those, and allows you just to kind of run them however you want, similar to like the Winamap stuff. Winamap kit, you can kind of run any format you want, and they don't really care that much. But it would be really cool if they had kits like that. At the end of the day, as long as you're actually running the event, I think that's what matters. If you're not actually running an event, that's the problem. If someone's just buying it just to keep everything for themselves, I totally understand that. They don't want that to happen. But if at the end of the day, if you're actually running the event, the format for the event shouldn't really matter. Again, as long as everybody's there, you're playing for it, and if the prizes are given out in a way that's outlined by the rules that you agreed to, then I don't see what the problem about the format could be anything. So hopefully one day they have kits that are like, hey, if you buy this kit, for example, like this kit is the official states kit and it has to be Silver Age and blah blah blah, all the same rules. But then there's another kit that just says it could be any format you want. No, I'm in the middle.
So Miguel, what are you gonna play for the Winamap?
Hey, that's actually the big question, because Black Panther's legal, and then you have to kind of consider Beetlejuice, right? I'm not 100% sure. I have two themes that I'm thinking about.
Blue Beetle Major Logan again?
Probably not. I like to play something different. Like, so far, I'm thinking a ruler theme with the Prime Black Panther. Then I was considering, doing Avengers with the Prime Black Panther, because what the heck is it? Miles Morales. Like, I like, giving Spider-Man TA is always good.
Yeah.
Then the other team I was thinking about doing, which I don't think it's gonna work because it's like a hit or miss. It's what the heck was it? I actually was building it. It was the Falcon and Red Wing team.
You were actually building a Falcon Red Wing team. That's pretty funny.
Well, so far it's X-Men themed, and I have all the powers, right? It's a 215. I got the TK, prop, perplex, outwit, and leadership on the team. Believe it or not.
Well, you should be able to. You could Animal theme it, or you could Avengers theme it. So
Yeah, I mean, you got ways to go about it. Yeah, you got options, but
you gonna try to get a Pikachu Pog to play? You're
it's
gonna
not a
beg
bad
Logan for
option.
one?
Yeah, Logan's Pog.
Yeah, you're gonna beg Logan for a Pikachu Pog before the event?
Not really. The only problem with the Falcon and Red Wing team, it loses because you can't use CK as free because of Beetlejuice.
Yeah. But I don't know. If I don't think Falcon Red Wing is the play. I think
No, I know it's not the play. It's just a fun team to play. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we'll see. I mean, but realistically, yeah, I don't know. They might not be the team anyway. I'm just trying to build new things, man, because you get to a point where you have a lot of stuff you haven't used. And you're like, oh crap, got to use this. Matt's gonna,
I get it. Yeah.
you know how Matt goes. Got to go all the time.
Yeah, what all the time?
So I got to counter Miguel. Nope, he's playing this.
Counter Miguel.
You're
Not
right.
wrong. You gotta counter him.
Yep.
90% of the time,
He's gonna be playing Beetlejuice just for that Falcon Red Wing team.
if it's
Yep.
death
He's gonna
row,
play just for the Falcon.
I post my team. If it's we're talking death row.
Yeah, he started doing this recently.
Yeah, nah, he posts his team just to change it last minute, guys. Just so you know.
Maverick, that's what you do.
I don't post my team. I change it last minute though, but I don't post it.
And he's like, oh man, I'm gonna get screwed. I gotta switch this team for this.
I will change my team like the night before. That is very true.
Then, believe it or not, I did consider. Now, this sounds stupid, but I did consider playing Wakanda Hulkbuster.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not
You're
lying.
playing, right? You're playing.
I was considering it.
There's no way, man.
So all the hate.
You guys think there's any feasible way to make the Bigfoot work? I was just thinking about that.
How does his ability work? I have to relook
So his
at
ability is at the beginning of your turn, if he's within 4 squares of an opposing character, then you may place him on his card. Then, at the beginning of your next turn, if he's on the card, you can place him in any square within 4 squares of an opposing character.
Yeah, no, there's no way to make that work. At least winning work.
Yeah, I feel like it's like a I don't even know. I don't even know what that's like. It's like you're gonna get hit first because he has no move speed power, and then if your opponent stays close to him, then for a turn they can't attack him. The next turn you'll get an attack.
But he's
Then-
gonna come back as like a 10 attack.
Yeah, that's my thing too. It's like yeah, he's gonna get hit, and he's a 10 for 3. And
With
it's
super strength that doesn't have movement.
yeah, it's like, do you even care about that? I don't know. And
And you can't give him a motorcycle, right? Because it will come off of him when he leaves.
Well, he's a giant. You can't give him anything.
You could swap. You could give him a motorcycle if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
Yeah, I don't see a team where you could play him. Reasonably play him.
yeah. I mean, even his thing of like, oh, if he's outdoors, like, then he's always stealth. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Then your opponent just picks a map where you don't have stealth.
Yeah, it's almost like but yeah, I'm even thinking like even in a casual setting, I don't even like this guy in a casual setting. That's why I was just seeing if you guys had ideas of like, no, actually, here's a cool combo of how to make him work. But I don't even think, like I said, I don't even think I like playing him in casual. It's just he gets hit, and then like you said, he gets hit. He goes down to 10 attack because they're probably not going to hit him to his second half of his dial where he actually deals damage. But then even if he does, you get one attack. So let's say you get the 12 for 4 attack. You get one attack, and then he's just dead. He's 17 toughness. He's gonna die next turn. Like, you know what I mean? So it feels like best case scenario. He gets one attack for 60 points. It just seems awful.
Yeah, that's not a good character. And him being giant is just like the icing on the cake of making him bad. Because if he wasn't giant, I think he wouldn't be that bad. I think there'd be a way to maybe do something with him.
I mean, well, because his thing, he would just unequip himself every time.
That's
So,
true. Because he
I
leaves
don't,
the map, yeah.
I don't see if that's how that would work. But
So another useless LE that WizKids has put out.
yeah, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, they've had several stinkers or whatever. But yeah, he was just the one guy that's, like I said, the more I'm looking at him, I'm like, there's got to be some way of doing something with him, but I just don't feel like it's anything meaningful.
They made his dial too plain. That was really it. He just doesn't have good enough power output.
Yeah,
If
no,
they honestly just gave him charge, the entire thing would change.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No speed power with 0 range is just it's unheard of. Like you can't you can't do anything. Um, I don't know. It's yeah, because and he disappears at the beginning of your turn. So if there was a turn, it's just it doesn't do much because he'll teleport away, and then you don't get to use him for that whole turn, and you're just like, well, it's because I'm gonna guarantee get to use him next turn. It's like, okay, so what? So what that you can use him? I don't know.
So what?
And look, so he's got what is?
Just quick question: you don't need line of fire to make a attack against an adjacent character, correct?
No.
Okay, but if you were adjacent to someone and you can't get line of fire to them, even though you're adjacent. You can't outwit them either, right?
Well, I mean, stealth doesn't work when someone's adjacent. So,
But it's not stealth. It's just you can't get line of fire to this character, even if you're adjacent to them. So you can't ever outwit them, right?
well, I mean, are you saying that's not? Well, that's not what
It's
Bigfoot
the
does.
Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So since he says you can't draw line of fire, you can never outwit him, but you can only attack him if you're adjacent.
Right. Right. Yeah, but I mean, he has to be next to like a terrain marker, though, right?
Yeah, but you just put him next to water because you can never get rid of water terrain.
Works with even with water. Let's see. Yeah, if
Because
he's
you
a
put
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, if he's in water, so he's super fish. he's
Yeah,
yes,
submerged.
but he's got the 50-50 super senses, so you're gonna I'm just saying it's a really bad team, but it should end in a stalemate. But if you play like the L curve water terrain or just a single square of water terrain, you could just play 4 of these Spider-Mans as your team, and your opponent has to always hit you with a 50-50 rollout. And they have hyper, so you basically go up, hit the guy, and then you go right back next to your water.
uh, yeah. I mean, but then you just you just lose to poison ivy.
That is true. The Poison Ivy team does beat it. Um, but I was just thinking, like in Death Row, you know, um, is this a bad team?
uh,
Just
I
4
think
of these
probably not
Spider-Man.
because I'm just thinking, oh yeah, because the stuff that gets rid of super senses has been banned in that format. So yeah, I mean, if it's not viable now, it will definitely. I mean, it'll be at one point. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, yeah, you gotta, you gotta punch him. So he's gonna have the 19, and then he's got 50-50 rollout, and then you could, uh, I don't know what equipment you'd give him to make that even more annoying, but
Yeah, because you can play one you can play one at like 40, the other 3 at like 75, and then you give them all like I don't know. You give one trick arrows, give another one something else. I was just thinking like the ultimate annoyance team. Like
yeah, I mean, but it's still at the end of the day, yeah. It's like I said, in Death Row, definitely it'll work eventually because I mean, you'll, I mean, if he doesn't get banned first, then it's the number of like characters with precision strike that have a decent level of attack, or like poison kind of stuff. Eventually, they'll go away first. I'm just thinking like, yeah, because obviously it's like if someone just punches them with precision strike, it's just regular super sense. So then like, yeah, I mean, you have more chance to miss then, but it's not really the worst thing in the world. He's got a decently long dial at 75.
and he has outwit, you know. And he incaps your opponent just by hitting, and he moves through characters.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was just like, I don't know, is it even putting that all to the side at 40 points, is he that crazy to play on an actual team?
Uh, at 40, uh,
I know it's
I
a
don't-
stretch, but I don't know.
I'm not sure at 40. I mean, because it's like his defense is literally exactly the same. His attack, if when you hit, is the same. But I think having that hypersonic is what's important. Is that you want to end in the same square.
Give
You know,
him the
you
hell cycle.
well then you're just doing 65. You know what I mean? Or then he's 55.
That's true.
Excuse
You
me.
might as well just. Well, is 55 better than 75?
I mean, at that point, it's probably better because, like I said, if you're punching, you're doing the same. So you're saving 20 points, and your speed is actually better. So it's probably better for 20 points
You're the
less.
same attack. You know, your attack doesn't change.
Yeah,
Unless
I
you
mean,
range
I would
attack, obviously.
the only benefit would be if you're using a range attack with hypersonic, but you got precision
Even then, you
strike.
have precision strike. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, so the only slight downside would be is like since you have a printed 2 damage, you couldn't deal 1 damage to all 3 targets that you're trying to shoot. But I don't think that's the end of the world. So yeah, probably at 40 with the Hell Cycle is better than Top Dial.
And just
Again, and
pop them in some good old, water terrain.
yeah, and like I said, unless you really want the outwit. But then I would almost
Field
just say
just
at that point,
exists.
just play Miles Morales. You know, if your opponent wants to
Oh
go for
yeah.
him, and he just transforms into the outwit version. You know.
Yeah, just sit on the water terrain, so that when you turn into Spidey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just literally park everybody on water. You're like, okay, yeah, you can shoot Miles Morales. Okay, cool. As soon as you hit him, he's gonna turn into the Spider-Man, and then that's the one that'll give you the outwit, and then you're basically playing a 75.1 or 25 points, but you're losing 1 attack. So it's like
And granted, you get one
worth it.
shot at that point, but you got to hit the guy. Like,
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think that's probably better. Yeah, just to play like you said the 40 point with a cycle and then 1 or
because I was
I
just
mean
thinking,
it's
if
really
I was going to the Winamap, I probably would be playing this.
Maverick says it all the time. If I was going this place, I'd play this, and why don't you just go?
Because I got a Christmas party, man.
Yeah, now it's a Christmas party. What other excuse you gonna tell us?
Are you gonna go to the Winamap at Gamers World?
No, because that's Sunday, and I got to work on that.
Man, that's in January. You can't tell them that far ahead.
I don't care about the win map because I don't care about the map right now. It's not.
All right.
If it was
All
Major
right.
Brock, I would have probably called off to go to that. But it's not Major Brock's anymore.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm probably not even gonna go to that one map either.
Because last time I checked, I have to double check the map to make sure it is what I think it is. Yeah, because what's the map called right now that it's being?
It's the map that says Maverick doesn't want to play in events.
Yeah, it just says Maverick sucks on it. No, but it's I think it's the rock and roll map. It should be on the ROC website. I forgot. Let's see, ROC Ion Suites thing.
Rock and roll concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't see how I would ever put a team on this map. Like I don't see me picking it.
What if your opponent puts you on that map? Then that's how you see your team being placed on that map.
Yeah, then I'm okay with that. Like if you want to put me on this map, then it's like getting put on any other map. Like
So then if you had the choice, you'd get on this map then.
What do you mean?
You just said if you have.
It's like getting put on any other map. It's not like Major Brock's, where you get absolutely fucked because you were put on a goddamn map that is so horrendous. It's just like any other map. It's like put me on what do you call it? The blocking map.
The Bloodstone Maze. I think
Yeah,
that's what
Bloodstone Maze. It's like getting put on that. It's like, okay, it's just like, all right, it's another map to play on. But it's not Major Brock's, so at least I'm happy playing. You know, I'm not just sitting there wasting 10 minutes to figure out how my team can get across this map to get one attack off. You know. Because I'll say that the bracket roll counter it looks like an annoying map because of the walls. It's like a pseudo to Major Brock's bunker, but it's not as bad. Like you could actually get around this map.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too now, and it's nowhere near bunker. Bunker's
Like
just got
you,
so many. I mean, even the bunker, like even on HC units, the bunker is misprint, where it's like some they have 2 layers of walls on some places, and I mean that in itself could be the misprint, where it's like, oh, it's only supposed to be one wall, but it's
well,
it's
I don't think HC maps can do that.
right. That's what I'm saying. You can't represent 2 layers of walls, but I mean, if you look at the map, it's like, yeah, there's a wall on that side and a wall on this side. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, Major Brock's, or I'm sorry, Brock and Roll concert is
it's just like one wall, like, and then you got one side's protected by elevated, the other side is not really protected.
yeah, but it's like I feel like um the player going first would never pick like an edge, like so looking at it at HC units or whatever,
You'd pick
where
left
like
or right. You wouldn't pick up or
right.
down.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You would just say like, "Oh, I'm gonna go straight across the map at you," and there's not much you can do. I mean, there's obviously some ways that you could block off your opponent from advancing, but because of the transition squares of uh like the big area of elevation,
Yeah, how they're
squares that
positioned
are
right in front. Yeah.
yeah, they're like right in front of you, so they can't that one square they can't put terrain, so you're always gonna have that lane to move up.
Well,
Um,
I mean, they could obviously use the machine,
yeah, but I'm saying,
So
but it's like so if even if they do that, it's like the whole other edge, because again, it's like remember going first. First player places their terrain first, so if you just put your elevated terrain like in the squares where you don't want the opponent to place their stuff, and they can't place anything there as well, and it's like yeah, you can get guaranteed alpha strike then on that map because there's just uh not enough areas. I mean, like I said, the um yeah, just yeah, there's no way that the person going first is going to pick, like you said, top or bottom, because they have actual elevation and walls in the way. uh yeah, it won't happen.
So it won't happen at all. Mm.
Yeah, honestly though, I mean Brock's Bunker though is like it's crazy how a map like that came out right after they made like if you look at the Daily Bugle press room where it's all one elevation, right? But they have a lot of transition squares, from 1 to 1 just to prevent opponent placing terrain like in the in the doorways. And Major Prox Bunker, it while it technically has those, it doesn't have them in any meaningful places. Uh, like mo- like aside from the two 1-to-1 elevation changes, or elevation, or I should say 1-to-1 transition squares. In like that, I don't know what we call it at elevation 1 in that lower section of the map. None of the doorways in the upper levels of the map have transition squares like to prevent terrain from being placed there. It's so crazy. I don't know why they went ahead and did that, because it you can so easily block off opponents from even moving.
Yeah, I don't know why the map was released. I don't think it even should have been. I don't see why it's legal at all. Like I wish that ban that it was permanent. Like it's kind of retarded that the map is playable still. Um, for how oppressive it is and just unfun to play on. Because every game on that map is just not fun compared to other maps. Like you literally just you could see it in just face expressions when people play on the map. It's just like you don't look like you're enjoying hero clicks anymore when you get put on that map.
Yeah, because
It's always
it's
got to
like
be an oppressive. I mean,
I don't
that's what it
mind like
is.
a map that says like, oh, you can't move very far, but it's a map that says like you literally can't, like you can't interact
You
with
can't move
opponents.
far, and then when you do move, you can't move far again.
Yeah,
And then if you move that, then you can't move far again. It's just like, all right, there's like 3 layers to Major Brock's bunker, and it's not, it didn't need 3 layers of shit.
yeah, I agree. It's just like I said, there's like basically 3 layers, or I mean minimum 2, but like I said, with some of the walls being double walls, it's like almost always 3 layers of walls, separating you from whoever you want to target.
It feels like a worse version of Hedge Maze, and I thought that was a bad map. But at least you could get around Hedge Maze a little bit. But this map is just like it's Hedge Maze on steroids. Like there's no easy way to get out of anything, and having the double walls is the most ridiculous thing. Like I mean, it sucked when you had to play on Morlock tunnels with the wall into blocking terrain.
Yeah, exactly. The wall, it's like, oh, and right behind it's blocking, so you have to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's even worse that it's walls because I've always felt that walls are worse than blocking terrain because you could be adjacent easier to blocking terrain than you can to a wall.
Yeah, for sure.
In other good news, my trouble alerts should be arriving today.
This guy.
Well,
What do you need,
now
what do you
that
need
that's
trouble
So,
alerts for, Miguel, huh? You
got
trying to
Gorilla
win or something?
Grodd, the Vulcan, and the Lex Luthor.
Yeah, so everyone, so you know, Miguel's playing Ultra Thanos.
I think everybody already knew that. I mean, I don't know. That's why if it was Beetlejuice League, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not going. Because I can't do this.
You can't do anything.
Well, the only. Yeah, no, I
you
couldn't do anything.
you can't do your perplex, so you can't get through. You can't kill Darkseid like you did. If Beetlejuice was legal, you know.
Yeah, but Darkseid can't KO. Well, oh yeah, they can't even KO me either, right? That doesn't make a difference because I know everybody's playing Darkseid over there at Wisconsin, so we'll see how it plays out. But majority of people can play Darkseid, which is fine.
Well, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Darkseid, and then I think you're gonna see a lot of mind control teams. Just different versions, definitely Onslaught, for sure. Um, Onslaught Colossus with Maria Hill. I think that's the auto, first thought of mind control teams.
Yep, it's gonna be an interesting thing. It'll be my first ROC states, and it's gonna be my last. We're like, nope, and I'm good.
Well, wasn't every other one before this 300 Modern Age?
That is a good question. I thought it was 300 point Silver Age.
I can't even remember. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it tells you, man. You really don't do none of these events. Yeah, we'll see what I build. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It should be interesting.
I just know Silver Age, bring it to 300 points, and people will show up.
Not really.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel
I
like
think it's still the same
I
thing.
feel like that. Yeah, it's almost. Yeah, I feel it's similar in the sense of it's
Well,
just
you're
like
playing
modern.
Modern Age.
Yeah, it's modern age
Well, the
plus.
team.
Yeah, Maverick wants 300 modern, so you can
No.
play
Well, you do
Sky Tyrant and
150,
a Mega Hero.
150. You would still stick with the half the build total has to be Silver Age.
Yeah,
So
so you're
you can't
basically
just
running.
play, the Scarlet Witch Saki era with, I'm playing just Sky Tyrant.
So you're playing just 2 Sky Tyrants, a Venom Mags.
There's other combos. I mean, Ultra Chase Thanos
Oh
ain't,
no. We're just talking about what you would play. That's what
300.
you would play. That
300. I'd still stick with Black Leopard, Ant-Man.
yeah.
And then from there, I think Venom Mags is an auto staple to any silver team, though. I mean, probably still stick with one Sky Tyrant. The rest of the team kind of would be up in the air, but it wouldn't be like as oppressive, as it is now, where it's just like, oh, I win either turn 1 or turn 2 of this game, or we're just drawing this thing out because you played like a tentpole character,
I was thinking before because we were talking before about like new player friendly formats. Now Silver Age is like obviously pretty much the the complete opposite of that. Um, I'm just thinking about a format that so even in Silver Age and now also with Modern Age, I think one of the problems of that new players can have in the competitive format is the situation of my opponent comes all the way across the board and KOs basically everything in my team in one turn. And and just wins the game kind of on turn 2, which does happen quite a lot. Would it be desirable to have an effect, or I'm sorry, a format where, just like with battle royals, where at the beginning of your turn everything comes back on the field, where it's just like that. It's just, everything that's KO'd comes back. Obviously, there'd have to be some other more nitpicky rules around KO effects and things like that, like things that are in your KO area. But specifically for a new player, what that would kind of do is that say no matter how hard your opponent hits you on the Alpha Strike, you have your full team that on turn 2, can do whatever you wanted it to do. You know what I mean?
For a new player, I can see that.
I mean, because at the end of the day, the new player's still probably going to lose in the sense because they might just lose by points or all that stuff.
A
But
good player would just, besides, just, that. But, if the new player built a team around something, it's like, well, I just neuter the piece and I put it on its, like, worst click where it's doing nothing.
yeah, but I mean, in
And
today's
then-
game, there's not many pieces that have specific clicks like that, and I feel like if you're able to, if you're able to do that, it's like at some point you have to score it, So I don't know. I feel like it's not like you're gonna come over and say like, oh, I'm gonna hit you to your last click and then run away the whole game.
No, you wouldn't be do it. I was just saying, like, their main attacking piece, you make it to where it's not really a great attacker anymore, and now it's just like a okay attacker, and then just kill the shit out of their support pieces over and over again. Because then it denies them from scoring as many points as they could if it was a full dial, came back.
Right. Yeah.
Character.
I'm not saying that that someone who understands the format and wants to win competitively in that format won't be able to find a way to do it. I'm just talking more of the player who's losing, right? So if you're gonna lose a game, is it better to lose on turn 2, or is it better to lose basically like at the timer, like when or if your opponent scores 100 more points than the build total? You know what I mean? I feel like probably from the new player standpoint, it's better to lose a game if they actually get to play more of the game. So that's where I'm coming from, is the idea of like every turn, all of your characters are going to be on the map. They might not be at full health, but all of your characters are going to be on the map every turn. Until the game is over. So I feel like from a new player standpoint, that might feel better. And then obviously from a competitive standpoint, you're like, oh, well, then I can, I have a broken combo that requires that I have a specific piece, but it's very easy to KO. It doesn't matter. If my opponent comes over and KOs it, it's just going to come back and I can still do my broken combo, blah, blah, blah. I can still score 300 points, on in a turn or whatever. I mean, not that that's realistic, but I can score a full 300 points in a turn. My opponent will still at least get another turn to do something, before I potentially win the following turn.
I see it. I definitely see it for a new player. Yeah, definitely not like a, veteran player format, obviously, yeah, but then you're gonna have to, go to a real game with them because they're not gonna You can't always play that format with a new player. Obviously, to get someone
Okay,
into the
well,
game,
I
I
mean,
could definitely
you
see
look
that.
at. I'm just saying,
Obviously,
you look at the players that specifically avoid the big competitive events, like at Worlds, and like I'm just gonna play battle royales all day. And that's what it's so it's a constructed battle royale in the sense that you still get to build your team, but your team comes back to life. You know what I mean? So, because I feel like with a battle royal, it's not so much of like, oh, my piece comes back to life. That aspect of it, that only prevents high point characters from being KO'd or from being attacked, because it's tough to KO them in a single turn. And if you don't KO them in a single turn, your opponent, somebody else is going to get those points, and you're actively losing the game. And versus in this situation, like, not being able to KO something in a single turn is fine. Like, you might be able to just get the points for it next turn. But I think again, I think that's a big pain point for some players, is that they know that, like, oh, in one or two turns, everything is going to be KO'd, and that's the end of the game. And it's like, well, what if it was just that effectively the games would always either go to time, or it's whoever scores 100 more than the build total. Or maybe even get rid of that thing. Just say go to time. Just score as many points as you want and just go to time. So games always end at the time limit. So no matter what, you are going to be what's it called? No matter what, you're going to be playing HeroClix for that much time, just like a battle royale. Battle royale is like, you're going to be playing HeroClix for an hour, no matter what. You're not going to be playing for 10 minutes and lose in turn 2 and then have to sit around for a while. So I think that's probably another thing, is that I'm just thinking, trying to find a constructed format that would be appealing to those casual players, to those newer players who like to just only play battle royals. It's like, what about battle royals do they like? And figure out how to bring that aspect of the game into a constructed game of HeroClix. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll use that format and just test it out. But like I said, I'm not 100% sure on what all of the specific rules would have to be for like when it comes to if
I just feel like in
if,
a competitive format, it's like everyone's going to be playing something that obviously just one-shot stuff. Just, for example, Cat Pig. Super easy to kill, but he kills shit, instantaneously.
yeah, but that's right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, from, again, the competitive players will always be competitive. That's fine. I don't care that the players that win continue to win. I don't care, because Cat Peg does well in 300 Modern anyway. So saying that, that the same good piece is going to do well in this other format, I don't care. My only concern for this format is to find out what appeals to the players that go play at BRs, right? Because it's like, why are you only playing battle royals? And I think the idea that characters respawn, meaning that, and players have the ability to get an unlimited amount of points, right? In a way, means that they are going to be playing HeroClix for a set amount of time. There's nothing that could happen in the game that stops them from playing the game until the time is called. So I don't know. I'm just, again, I totally get the idea that, you're just gonna, the competitive players are gonna make a strategy which says, oh, I'm gonna, all of my characters are gonna be on the map every turn, So I'm going to make a strategy that every turn I can just delete all of your powers and automatically score points. Okay, great. I know that's going to happen, but even if that happens to a brand new player, they're like, okay, every single piece of yours died. Like, wow. But the game's not over. It's not like you instantly lose and then there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, yeah, everything on your team is dead, but it comes back, and you just keep playing. Obviously,
I mean,
the only thing that stands out to me is like if you make it where there's not a point limit that you can score, then people can cheat and say like I scored 1 billion points in a game, but
it's gonna be a bitch to keep track of what you KO'd. I'll tell you that.
well, I mean, like I said, you do it with BRs anyway. You have to have a scrap sheet of paper, like, and write down what's
Yeah,
KO.
but you as one person KO less stuff because there's 3 other people, playing. So you're only like KOing like 4 figures most of the time, compared to like a real game where it's like, all right, so if I do have that strategy that just wipes teams, I'm sitting here, calculating, 4 figures a turn, and then trying to figure out what the points total. And then especially if someone plays something like, goons or like time breakers or something, and it's just like there's more little character math that you have to do. It feels like there's a lot of putting a point cap is I think makes it, I want to say easier, but it's still as hard.
Yeah, or we could just like just increase the cap instead of it being like 100 points more than the build total. It's like double the build total or something. You know what I mean? But I feel like the higher the cap is, the more potential that players have to cheat. You know what I mean? So if someone's like, "Oh, I won and I got," or I don't know, maybe perhaps in the standings, you could just that still allows for cheating. I'm just thinking of similar how now it's like if you score more than it's 300 modern, if you score more than 300 in the actual standings, they still put 300 points. But I'm thinking to myself, even technically with situations like that, you could say that me and my opponent both scored more than 300 points, but the other person won.
What
And that doesn't
if
really happen.
instead of being 300 point games, it was 200 point games? You get
I
all
mean,
your figures, but
yeah,
there's only 200 points. There's less stuff that could break the game, and there's less stuff that there's less stuff to keep track of at 200 points.
I would probably, instead of saying 200 points, I'd probably just say 2 actions per turn instead of 3. So that way the
Would
turns are
leadership
quicker.
increase it?
Yeah, I
Still,
would increase to 3. Yeah, it just that one less action it would speed up the turns. It would mean that there's you have an entire you have 25% less actions per turn to score points. So based on that, you would score 25% less stuff every turn, and then because I think I wouldn't want to lower it to 200 because it just prevents, again, thinking it from a new player's perspective. I just opened the big huge 300 point piece in this set. I want to use it, right? And in that, so I don't feel like we should prevent players from using specific stuff that they just opened. They got lucky and they opened a real big piece. But I think probably just reducing the action total, perhaps. Again, obviously that does change the dynamic of how certain pieces are designed. If there are pieces that are designed to quote unquote not die, that makes those pieces much more powerful. You know, the less actions that your opponent has to try to KO your not die piece. You know, if you're playing, you know, Grand Prize Genesis or APOC, and you're like, oh, you have to hit me like 3 times in a single turn. And you're like, well, if you only have 2 actions, you don't have, you know, then it's like, I can hit you twice, so therefore that piece is unkillable. You know, so again, I there's a lot of things that probably have to be fixed about that, but I think it could be exclusively a modern age format. And then, similar to Silver Age, if a problem piece does come up for that specific format, then you could just say for that format it's banned. You know, because if you want to play Modern Age, play Modern Age.
When someone gets KO'd, right? Do they come back right away in the same squares, or where do they come back at?
It'd be this exactly BR rules at the beginning of the turn, before any beginning of turn effects actually occur. You place all the characters that are in your KO pile, you know, that were KO'd. I would say probably except for generated characters. I wouldn't, you know, have generated characters come back. But everything in your KO pile that was on your starting force, you just put it back into your starting area.
So what if a team is completely wiped? Saying this is, you know, really hard to do, obviously. But if a team was completely wiped,
yeah, that would have to be another specific rule that like that doesn't end the game. Like the win conditions of that game would just have to be the time limit. Because it's the same thing. The same thing is true for Battle Royale. Like if for some reason everything on the map is dead except your friendly piece, like the Battle Royale doesn't end there. You still keep playing.
So then, you know, the problem character that I'm thinking of off the top of my head is, what happens when someone would play whatever the cheapest leadership is with that has leadership their entire dial, and just play 2 Kongs at 50 points a pop. Just flat out, that's my entire team. I'm playing 100 and saying use Kevin for leadership. I'm playing 140 points, and I'm playing 2 Kongs and Kevin. The most you could score a turn is 140, and I basically have automatic, you know, unless you're playing less than 3 characters, my Kongs are double acting every turn. But if you have 3 actions, only one of them would double act, obviously.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I think there's things like I'm not saying that it's a perfect format. Again, I'm just, you know, thinking from the perspective of, you know, I mean, to that, I mean, you could also just say to that, I would say 200 point Kong probably beats that. You know, just I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, 200 point Kong would probably beat 250 point Kongs in a Kevin, yeah. But I'm saying, like, yeah, there's going to be a counter to that, but that's just a solid build that is, you know, annoying for mostly anything else that's not temp Polish.
yeah, I'm not saying it's a perfectly balanced format. I'm just trying to find a format, a constructed format that the new or more casual players would partake in. I'm not saying that this format would be set up in such a way to be competitive. I'm just saying that it would be set up in a way like if you had, for example, a new player night, you know, like this would be the format that would be recommended to use for that night. If WizKids were to come out and similar to, you know, Pulp or Theme, you know, is similar to those formats where they actually have rules for them. If they were to come out and say, "Hey, this is, you know, this is the format we recommend for new player night." I don't know whatever they would call it, but it wouldn't be designed to like, oh, we're gonna have it at Worlds, you know, and there's gonna be a world champion of that format. I don't think so, because like you said, it can be exploited in ways where, like you say, like why not just play a single Kong at 50 points and just say, and then the like you said, and then Kevin, because like Kevin, you ain't gonna score him right away. So the most you can score
It
really,
takes 4 turns to score Kevin, and then when then you can just score him, but he still comes back.
right? Exactly. So it's like I said, I know there's gonna be figures that break that format, but the goal of it isn't to um to appeal to say like can this format be competitive? Again, competitive is 300 modern. That's what it is. But these rules are specifically designed to make the new or the casual player feel a little bit better, even when they're losing the game. That's the point. It's like if they're gonna lose the game anyway, how do we make them feel less bad? And I think it's less bad to lose at when time is called versus to lose on turn 2.
So
That's my opinion.
I definitely feel like this is a great new player, game mode. But the thing that I'm looking at is how do you keep them playing? If they for example, they like this format so much, but then when they play a real format, it's definitely different. Because you're not gonna have all your figures.
Well, again,
Um,
these are the players that always play BRs. Like I'm going to go to Worlds and I'm only going to play BRs, right? Would be like, hey, if you were going to play constructed, or even like something that's not sealed, right? You see a lot of people, I'll just play BRs and I'll play super sealed. It's like, okay, well, let's try to get you into constructed. Let's try to get you to make a team that does something like some kind of combo or they work together or whatever, right? Let's just try to ease you into that. That's all it's doing. Because if you're saying like, well, how do they go from that to a regular 300 point modern game? Like, my argument would be, how do you go from a BR to a regular modern 300 point game? Like clearly there's a disconnect there where for a large portion of players, they won't cross that bridge ever. They're never going to do it. And they might never do it no matter what you give them. So I'm just trying to find a middle ground where you can get a player that's more comfortable playing constructed and a player that's more comfortable playing BRs actually playing the same format, and both of them have some amount of fun doing it. Not just like one person going, like obviously BRs and sealed are much more luck based, which I feel obviously for a new player, that's what draws them in. Is it doesn't matter how good you are, if you just get lucky, you'll do well. And I don't think for this format it's as much luck based because you still have to construct your team. But into constructed in the sense of like, yeah, you can get your butt whooped on turn 2, but you'll still get that whatever combo you wanted to do, you'll probably still be able to do it at least one time, during a game. And that's what I think is good for a new player to actually use the combo that they built and to see if it's good or not, instead of going, oh, I lost the game on turn 2. I couldn't even get to use my combo. Everyone's already dead. So I don't want to play this format anymore. So who knows? But I'm trying to find a way to get both types of players to actually play the same game.
well, I mean, I don't think there's really a problem with competitive players playing BRs. I mean, almost everyone that's competitive does it.
No, and again,
I
I'm
think
not
it's
saying
more
that either.
just the BR people not playing
Right.
in constructed, which I was thinking it's just like So what if they like this event so much that it's that now they're just BR players and this specific type because they still want, because at the end of the day those players are there feeling that it's like more of a they want to get their cool combo up, you know, because it's still going to be the same game that they don't want to play because they can't do anything, the second they play a real game and not in this format, you know what I mean? But for a new player I could see it helping them not only learn the game but um find stuff out about the game instead of just getting thrown into the sharks. They at least get to learn how to swim.
Right. And again, I think you're absolutely right. Like I said, this is not for the competitive players that play 300 modern have no problem playing BRs. Usually, some I know some people, and I've talked to them that are like, hey, BRs are great, but I would just rather build my own team, kind of thing. And
Yeah, they don't want the randomness of a pack.
right.
I get that. Like I also don't like
Yeah,
the randomness.
yeah, but it's like you said, yeah. There's some people that don't like that, but they'll still do it, right? But
Yeah, it's be surprising.
but the other way around, yeah, the people playing BRs that are just like, I can't make a constructed team. I have no idea what's good competitively. I don't even know where to begin. So therefore, they don't even touch constructed at all. Which I feel for hero clicks, it's like that's the whole point of hero clicks is constructed. Right? It's like find the pieces that you want to use together and do it instead of just
And if you don't know
always doing
start,
the luck of the
I
pack.
mean, if you don't know how to start, how to build a team, we got HC units, man. Like this, it's the like all father of learning, what teams work and what the competitive, is. It literally tells you this is the most used hero click in the game, and like these are competitive teams at states and shit that have won because you see the winning team, or at least, I personally look at top like 5, top 10 for bigger events, because like they're all about the exact same team. It's just like who got the dice rolls, at the end of the day for like up there. But everything below that, some of them you can nitpick, just got unlucky. But then it's like most of them you'll be like, all right, this guy played like three commons and like two uncommons that like no one ever plays because they're bad, you know. So, but I definitely think that it's not hard to learn how to build a constructed team. It's just I think it's more people don't want to put in the time to learn the game like that.
Yeah, and again,
That's
I'm trying to think of a way like where like this format would be potentially a way for players like that to put in the time to say, yeah, you're gonna do whatever combo you want, and you might lose to a more competitive opponent, but you'll still be able to see your full combo and the opponent's full combo. Like you will see it, and and you'll be able to tell how reliable it actually is, because that's kind of the core of competitive HeroClix is having effects that are reliable and having consistent results. That is all what competitive HeroClix is all about. And hopefully players that are using more luck based combos will go to can play formats like that and see that there's teams that yes, when that combo works, it's crazy good, but most of the time it doesn't work. So maybe I don't bring that team to an actual competitive event, because most of the time the combo, even when I have all of the characters on my field, most of the time the combo doesn't work as well as I thought it would. That's you know that's what's tough about a lot of games is figuring out kind of that maximum potential that your combo has, but not knowing what your opponent is going to basically eliminate on your team before you can get that combo to work. So knowing that you're like, hey, if my pieces are going to come back anyway, I can take a little bit more risks, and still be able to do that, whatever that wombo combo is. And maybe it turns out to be really good, and maybe it turns out to be consistent, and maybe then they get comfortable using that team. Like, hey, I'm going to try this team in an actual normal 300 modern event and see how it does, because I got comfortable using that combo in this other format, because the format inherently lets you do that combo at least once per game. It lets you do your full combo, so you have that experience of actually doing it, like steps A through whatever, versus in a regular modern age event, you're like, all right, well, they keep killing half of my team, so I'm not exactly sure what to do right now. And from less experienced player, that's, I think, when the game doesn't feel as fun to them, when like, I don't even know what to do, so the game's not fun for me right now. And but I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it's going to completely bridge the gap, and it might not. But I'm just trying to, like I said, at the end of the day, find a way where you can get everybody playing a format that they at least moderately enjoy, because there are definite players that will never play 300 Modern, and there's definite players that will never play Sealed, and there's definite players that will never play Battle Royals. So I don't know. Trying to find a way to bridge the gap and make everybody happy. So I mean, the only thing that this format doesn't have is a sealed component, but I don't think adding a sealed component into it really makes too
That's
much
the
sense.
prize. You get a pack.
Yeah, that's your prize is 2 packs that you're going to use for next event. No,
Oh my god.
that would be something, huh? Wouldn't it be like the prize that you get in this event are the pieces that you're going to use for next event?
Oh man, that would be. I don't. That's it's a wild out there thing, but an event where you basically get a pack and you have to use 2 figures from that pack on your team.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, if there was going to be a sealed component to that format, where it's like, yeah, everybody gets a pack, you got to use something from it, but you have to construct a team around it as well. I'm not sure.
But bringing all your figures is not fun. But
No, but like you said, I think if it was at the end of the event, you get a pack, and then you have to use at least 2 characters from that pack in the following event. You know what I mean? I think that could be.
and obviously you'd open the pack at the store, so people can't cheat and be
Exactly.
like,
Right,
"Oh, I
exactly.
pulled
So
Major Logan."
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, you'd write down what people got. Yeah, so that's, I mean, it's not
I
a
think that would
terrible
actually be
thing.
a pretty fun event.
Yeah, I think
I
that'd
mean,
be not bad. The only problem is you'd have to find everybody that's participating in that event would have to show up for every single event. That's the only problem, is you'd have to find days where every single person could attend the events. Because if one person skips the event, then it's like, okay, well, do they still get another pack? I don't know. I mean, there's probably ways around it, but it works much better if everybody attends it every single time. And it'd also be tricky if a new player showed up. I guess they could just open a pack like right before the event.
Well, my thought is, I mean, it would be, definitely more work on your end, but if you basically, whenever someone signs up for the event and they're gonna join, uh, you just open a pack and then tell them what they got in the pack, and then they have to build from that pack.
I wouldn't want to do that. I don't want to tell people what to use. Even if it actually is random, I wouldn't want to do that. And even if it was, I'm opening an actual sealed pack on live video, I still wouldn't prefer that, because you can, I'm thinking of from a complete stranger's perspective who has no idea who I
They
am or
could think
no
that you're
idea who we are.
giving bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like we're not rigging it, but God forbid they have no reason not to believe that we aren't rigging it. So I think it would just be a situation where, yeah, if you hadn't participated in the previous event, like show up early so you get a pack and you open it right then, and then make a team, before the event using at least 2 of those figures.
Yeah, if you didn't participate in the last event. Yeah. And then if someone that doesn't come for the next event, then I guess they just got a pack?
Yeah, like
Easy,
it doesn't
yeah.
count. It doesn't count anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They would have to just get another one, and then same thing. Like it's basically like they were like restarting. Like they'd have to show up early to open another pack, because the pieces that you open only apply for the next event. They wouldn't just, you couldn't just like save them up and be like, all right, I opened something good, and I'm gonna wait until everybody else opens like dog crap, and then show up for the next event and be like, haha, I beat everybody because I opened this really good piece and everybody's got bad stuff. So I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should. I think let's. It's actually a really good idea. We should probably try to do something like that next season. I think it can replace um, our limited format series, because right now we're doing a limited event at least once per set. I think we can still run limited events, but we might not do it.
I'm gonna
every
not
single
lie.
set.
I'm still not a fan of limited.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
still just
I think limited can be something that we do maybe once or twice a year. Just it'd be just something to change it up, or maybe we just have to rethink limited, or just do something different. You know what I mean? But
I
I
think
think
there's
it can.
definitely something to limited that needs to change.
Yeah,
Like it's just
I
it
I think
feels
it's
too much of like we're all playing the exact same team ideas that we've had, and it's just like, what are you like every not every team was the same, granted, but I'm saying like your team ideas all the exact same. Like we all were building past teams. We
right.
were
Well,
thinking
that's
Black
that's.
Lanterns.
I mean, Masters of Time was just so strong. I mean,
Exactly, like
but
every single one of our teams had Perdegaton on it. I don't think anyone didn't play per. Yeah, even Rick was
we all
playing it.
did. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, we all like, I had the thought of Wong in the back of my mind, but I was like, I'm not gonna play Wong, and I knew someone would bring Man Thing, but I was like, it's whatever. It's like at the end of the day, it's just it's not exactly like it ties you down to your picks, because like if we're being honest, like everything that we played is just stuff that we probably would have played in a different event.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. But
just
no, like I
I
said,
feel like there's got to be like this little added thing to limited to make it and spicy again.
yeah, I agree. I think it can be rethought out, and we can. But no, I do think this sealed pack thing idea, using at least 2 characters from it, I think that's a really good a good idea, because it also prevents, since you have to use 2 characters from it. Um, I mean, should it still be 400 points then? Do you think? Because if someone opens a 300 point character and they want to use it, they would, right? I'm just
I mean,
trying to.
that's a good question, because I mean, if you open a 300-point character, then I mean that is your whole team.
Yeah, because
Which
my thing
in
is like,
turn,
if you're.
in turn, is you could just not pick that character because there's 4 other parts in the pack. You know, and like, not saying that like you're forcing someone to not pick it. It's just like, if someone does, for example, taking Master's Time, if someone did pull a dark side, are they playing that at 300 with something else, or are they playing, because you also have to look at it from like a fair thing, because it's like dark side with other characters at 400 points probably beats whatever else anyone else pulled in their packs, just because it's
Yeah,
You
so
know.
maybe we do it similar to how Silver Age says, where it's like, hey, look, you got to use 2 pieces, or you can use 1 piece, but that piece has to be more like at least 200 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, if you did pull a big piece in that pack, it's like, you know, you're not stuck going, oh, I got a 250 point piece in this pack, and the cheapest other piece I pulled is 50 points, so my team is already pre-made. It's like, no, you can use 50 points of something else. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good workaround. Is that if 1 piece from your pack is 200 points or more, you can just use just that. Other than that, though, you got to use 2 pieces, at least 2 pieces.
Mm.
And then the rest of your team can be, is constructed around that. And yeah, it'll be 300 points then. Yeah, because at 400 points, what also can a lot of times happen is that you just use the 2 cheapest pieces that you pull, and then you just have you already have a pre-built 300 point modern team that's really good. And then you
It's
just
like
use
minus 30 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you just use 2, you use 2 20 point pieces that you pull from the pack, and you're like, all right, cool. Like, it's, so that's also not what we really want to happen. We want, yeah. So yeah, 300 points is the way to go.
Yeah, and
I don't know. So
yeah,
now we
and
just
I
have to
don't know
think
if
of a name for that.
a name for that.
Yeah. I don't even know. I'll probably have one next time, but I'm not sure what the name for that format would be.
I don't know. It's just on my head. Pop Goes the Weasel event.
What?
I don't fucking.
Pop Goes the
It's
Weasel?
in my. I
What are
don't
you
know.
talking
Like,
about?
the only way I could explain is like you pop open a pack and then you have to use the weasels that you get in it. Pop Goes the Weasel.
You have to use the weasels that you get in the pack.
Hey man, I think it would just be a funny name, just to have as the event.
I mean, I could. Why don't we just call it Pop a Pack?
Pop a pack? Yeah,
Yeah, it's a Pop a Pack event. So everyone, it's you pop a pack, use 2 pieces from it. Yeah, and actually, yeah. Actually, yeah. And instead of opening a pack at the end of the event, just everybody will just at the beginning will open 1 pack, and then you build a team.
but like
Right
it
then.
feels like my thing is like then I have to like bring a shit ton of my collection. Because depending what
Oh,
I
okay.
get,
No, I
then
see what
it's
you're
like,
saying. I see what you're
am
saying.
I playing
Yeah.
past?
Okay.
Am I
Either
playing
way.
ruler? Do I want a
Yeah.
theme? Do I not want a theme?
I don't know. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's same how we were doing before. Normally,
If
it's at the
someone
end.
does, if someone's new to the thing, it's like they weren't there for the last event, then yeah, you're gonna have to open a thing.
Right. Right. But
But
okay.
that's why
Yeah.
I said the whole thing is like you could do it. You'd open the pack for them and then tell them what they got. But I'm like, I do see how you could be like, well, what if they, you know, oh, you gave me a bad pack, or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. And that's
Like,
actually we can do how before I was like I'm doing like the oh, what the heck, the scratch off cards and stuff like that. And like basically instead of doing that, I could just put that money into a pack for everybody. You know what I mean? So that just pays for
yeah.
that. Yeah. So that way,
And the thing is you could do it with any set.
right? Exactly. Doesn't matter because as long as
So
everybody gets the same set, then it's fair.
so if you just out there, if you wanted to pick Joker's Wild, you can use Joker's Wild. Like it's any set, 2 characters from it.
Right, like I said, as long as everybody's using the same set, then it's fair. So,
And then just limit it to how many packs you have of that set. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. That's That's like I said, it's not a bad idea. So yeah, I'll probably get that. Obviously, whenever I get the 2025 rules written up, which is gonna be whenever it's gonna be after the Rumble, which is also gonna be in 2025. But whenever that happens, and yeah, I think that's definitely something. I'll see what everybody else says, and get see what feedback I get. But I think that's not a bad idea. And it's funny how Miguel jumped off as soon as we started, going over this, because I don't know, he's gonna be like, "Oh man, you made up a whole new format without me."
Yeah, and it screws me too.
Yeah. Like no, you just tell him to open a God pack and he's good.
Exactly. No, he's gonna open Venom, with double M's.
Yeah, with 2 M's, Venom.
Exactly. Knowing Miguel, he would open that and then proceed to win the event with that figure.
Oh man, could you believe that?
I pulled Venom with 2 M's and I beat you. I don't know how much that just asserts so much dominance, man.
Yeah, for real.
Like I'm just that good of a player that I beat you with this figure, But I like the idea of this event. It's at least it's more unique than other events,
Yeah, and like I said, well, even if it's not popular at the end of the day, we'll do it until people say, "Nah, this is stupid" or whatever,
Yeah, exactly. Might be the first one, might be like the 10th,
Right.
Any other ideas for events?
I mean, I think I don't know. I think Death Row. We're just going to continue that, and then if we do if this pop-up pack is the other series event, I don't think we can. I mean, just with the way the schedule works, I don't think we can have more than 2 series events. But of course, if there's any other ideas that you got, just for one-off events, and then if those, if it turns out that those are enjoyable, and then we can make it, a series of event, in the next season or whatever, or maybe even make just a big event out of it.
And the next Bling Bash is the Omega, right? There's not going to be one before that, right?
Right. Yeah. The next one is the one in March. Yeah. I'm not doing one in winter. I would like to do a winter one, but I don't want to
That's way too much money on you.
Well, I don't want to schedule a winter event and have it be canceled because of snow or have it to be rescheduled. So, and
sense.
unfortunately, I already have to do that with the Rumble. So I don't want to juggle 2 events that are being scheduled at a time where we could get snowed out. So, yeah, it's just a scheduling issue at that point. So if we lived in Florida, then yeah, there would be a winter one.
Yeah, winter one where there's no snow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it? What does it get to, like 40 degrees, 50 degrees in winter in Florida? I don't know. I don't know how cold it gets in Florida in winter. So
I don't know. I just know it's too hot for me during the summer. So.
all right. Well, let's see. Yeah, we've been going for a while. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna end this. We don't have to. Yeah, I'm gonna end it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably been going for what